Few years ago, there were so many things that I wanted to pursue. And each time that I was about to start, some thoughts would appear. Thoughts like, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? And those thoughts alone were enough to make me stop even before I had actually started. Then I came across this concept in behavioral science that explained why this fear felt so strong. And when I started to understand it, then my view about fears and failures began to change. So, one thing that I have reflecting on in my manifestation journey is that fear doesn't always mean that we're not capable. Sometimes fear means that we are stepping outside what feels familiar. Our brains are wired for survival. Thousands of years ago, fear helped humans avoid real dangers. But today, our brain can react the same way to situations that are not physically dangerous. Situations such as making big decisions in life, pursuing a new goal, or starting a new business. Because those situations involve uncertainty, and our brain requires certainty. So while learning about this, I came across something called loss aversion. According to research, the pain of losing something is twice as strong as the joy of gaining something. Because of loss aversion, possible losses feel much bigger than the possible gains. Remember the moment I mentioned earlier that there were so many things that I wanted to pursue, but I hesitated doing it. So when I understood loss aversion, I realized that the fear I was feeling wasn't necessarily about my ability. It was my brain's way to protect me from possible loss. Loss of time, loss of effort, maybe even the embarrassment of failing. And once I understood that, fear started to make a lot of sense. Instead of seeing fear as my signal to stop, I started seeing it as something that naturally appears when we step outside our comfort zone. Another realization that helped me a lot is that fear of failure becomes smaller when you don't see it as the end, but part of process. When you see failure as the end, of course, it feels terrifying. But when failure becomes part of the learning process, then it loses its power. Every skill we develop and every goal that we pursue involves some level of trial and error. And when we start seeing failure as part of growth instead of proof that we are not capable, fear becomes easier to face. So maybe the goal is not about to remove fear completely, but rather we need to understand it better. Now we know that fear sometimes it's just our brain's way of protecting us from something that hasn't even happened yet. And when we understand that, we can start moving forward even if fear is still present. Now, I'm curious to know, do you have like things that you want to pursue, or do you have like new goals but kept on hesitating because of your fears? And if you're comfortable sharing, let me know in the comments.